everyone, we are live yet again. This is one of my authors' chats of the week, and as always, I'll be keeping my eye out for my co-host this week, so I can invite her in. But how's everybody's weekend? Did you have a great time? I know for me, I was out and about and got away from the suburbs for a little while, which was always nice to do, and now I'm back and getting right back into the writing aspect. The really neat thing is, we'll probably talk about a little bit more later, is the fact that I just finished the first draft of the project I was working on, so that's exciting today. So, smaller achievements, but so now I am 14 out of my predicted 16 novellas of the Guardian Speaker, so I'm very thrilled about that. But as I said, I'll keep my eye open for my co-host. It'll be the first time I think she's doing a chat with someone, a live with someone, so try to make sure I invite her in when I see her. But yeah, for all those people joining in, just let me know what you like to read. I always am curious as a fantasy author. I love recommendations of all sorts, especially if it's fantasy. But let's see, keep my eye out for my co-host. But yeah, so really fun trying to wrap up the 14th novella, basing the series off Norse mythology, and do some deep dives and some obscure lore. Hello!
Hey!
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good! I'm so glad we got to do this, and everything seems to be working out, so I like that.
Yes! I love it.
So I got to keep these relatively casual, and since you're my co-host this week, I'll let you introduce yourself and what you write, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, you want me to do that right now?
Yeah.
Hey, Addie. I am T.L. Combs. I'm the author of the Bellham Realm series, which is right back here, and my new book coming out on Wednesday, The Audacity of Flower, which is a Regency-inspired BIPOC-featured cast, I guess, and yeah, that comes out on Wednesday, so I'm excited for that.
That is exciting. So you're probably like I don't know how each author, prepares for a book release, but is it a lot of work for you to prepare for a release, or is it pretty simple at this point?
It's been simple. Like mentally, it's boggling, but like as far as like the motions, it's pretty simple. Like I usually try to get it out, done, and uploaded, and I don't even worry about it like the week of. I'm pretty chilling, just waiting for it to come out officially. So, but yeah, try not to let it bog me down too much.
Yes, I think I don't know where I want to end up, because I like when I release any book to do enough prep work that theoretically, I feel like on the day, I should be able to take a breath, but I don't know what it is. Book release days, I am working like when I get up to when I go to bed, doing something pertaining to it, and not really relaxing.
Yeah, the first book was a little nerve-wracking, but after that, it kind of got a little easy.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I mean, once you kind of done something at least once, theory is the second time through, it's going to be easier.
Right. I mean, it's still stressful in your brain. It's still like, you're like, what am I doing? So yeah. I kind of forgot how to do everything the second time around. I'm like, okay, wait, how did I upload this? Like, where did this go? Like, what was the link? Like, yeah, so it was crazy.
I don't know. I'm a note taker, and so like I have trained myself that anytime I'm doing something the first time around, I try to take as many notes possible, because even like going through the copyright process, I'm like, okay, you click this button here.
Yeah.
So the next time it's like autopilot, you're like, done.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. I learned that with my second book to actually take notes. So
it's always a good thing to do. It's always good.
Yeah.
It definitely is. But let me ask you, you said, okay, so you have a new book coming out on Wednesday, and you said it was a Regency-based one. Now, let me ask, was this inspired at all by other Regency book series or media, or is this something that you just happen to like
I mean, if it's not obvious, Mr. Darcy right here, I have always loved Regency and Regency period. Um, ever since I was little, like my mom and my sister and I would watch the BBC version of Pride and Prejudice, and
Oh yeah.
like a whole Sunday and was dedicated to watching that. So I have always been in love with it. So it was just a matter of time before I started to actually write something similar to it, if not the actual era itself. So yeah, so that's what this is. But yeah, it definitely got boosted for me because of the one on Netflix.
I'm just curious because
So,
I know, it is interesting when something becomes hyper popular. All the attention that's drawn to whatever niche that is, and it was just interesting how something as simple as a book series can all of a sudden change. Obviously, not just media, but clothing and everything.
right,
There was trends in like even wedding dress trends of
right.
Regency styled
Uh,
clothing.
it's amazing. It's just like,
The power
it's
of a
just
book.
so funny. I'm like, where have you guys been? Because I'm always like, been in love with this. So like everybody's behind on the times.
Bring it back. All things come back.
Yeah, everything.
But did you do a lot of research for it? Because you're doing a period piece, and for me, as an epic fantasy author, it's nice in one sense. I don't have to research like
Yeah.
I don't. Well, it's weird. I do a lot of research,
Right.
but I'm not constrained to an era of history, so I can always
Right.
tweak things too. But since
Exactly.
you're doing a period piece, I don't know how much research,
So
how much
here's the fun
detail you
part
put.
about being a fantasy author.
Uh-huh.
It's Regency inspired. So it is a
Ah,
fantasy world, but Regency inspired. So it's not actually Regency era England. It's a whole,
hey.
because I didn't want to research, and because I don't do that because I'm a fantasy author. And plus, it was, BIPOC main characters and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
I didn't want the historians coming at me like they did for Bridgerton. So I was
Okay,
like, you
fair,
know
fair.
what? I'm just going to do my own thing.
Okay, I like it. I like it. There was oh, what's the show? I don't think it was based off a book. I'm trying to think. I think it's on Prime. But it's a fantasy. It was set in what era of England? But it was a gas lamp fantasy. Cannot think of it right now. Anywho, but the point being is they sent it so it's not our world. It is a true fantasy world,
Hmm.
but kind of in a period of tech. Even though you have
Right.
fantasy creatures and all that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Exactly. I love that.
It is. It's an escapism, but there's enough things that you can relate to that you're
Hmm.
like, I get it, I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those break pieces that I decided to do. Because I'm doing the fantasy, and that's really intense after a while because you get so immersed in this storyline and all of this extra stuff. Like you literally created a world. So I needed a break, but I wanted to stay creative. So that's why I did this. And I just made it as easy as possible. So it's Earth, but it's not actually,
Not our.
but yeah, so yeah. So I made it really easy.
Yeah. Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's really cool. Like the power an author has to deviate or keep true to whatever you feel is comfortable with your
Right.
storyline and everything. And I know you've mentioned fantasy a couple times, and I love fantasy.
Yeah.
So what are some of the fantasy elements in this particular book?
Well, I mean, it's definitely not magical.
Okay.
It's all Regency inspired, so Regency based.
Hmm.
So there's horses, horse carriage, there's lamps. There are
Yeah.
showers though, so that's a thing.
Hey.
Which that can be magical in the
Yes.
Regency era. But for the most part, it's just a different world in itself based off of our world. So
Hmm.
Araband is essentially England, and the Effingham is the village that they live in, and so it's very very close.
Fun. is this supposed to be a start of a new series? Because it looks like you wrote a series. I'm looking at your other covers in the back, or is this a new series or a
It wasn't meant to be a series. It wasn't meant to be. It was one of those one and done things until the rest of the characters started talking. And yeah, Hannah in there just said oops because it's kind of her fault because she kind of made me write the sister like her sister's love story. So here we are.
Hey, no, I'll admit, my first book, it was so funny because I had a series that I had in mind for years, but I wasn't comfortable just jumping into it. I wanted to kind of figure out what my writing voice would be and get to know the process. So I decided to do what I thought was going to be a standalone, and it ended up being a 4-book series.
Yeah. See how that works?
I figured out, I got a little more comfortable with the publishing process before jumping into my other works, but it was not originally meant to be a 4-book series.
Right. Yeah, this was not meant to be anything but this singular, 40,000 word book. That's, something simple, something cute. And I knocked it out in like 2.5 weeks. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. And then like the sister was like, oh, wait, I want a story. And so that outline happened in a day or two. And yeah, so that I'm halfway through that now.
Okay. You sound like a very fast writer. I applaud you.
Yeah, it's called hyperfixation, and that's basically what happens. I just kind of get immersed in it and lost, and my family pretty much doesn't see me for a couple of weeks, and that's how it usually goes. And I'm like up until 2:00 in the morning or more. And
no,
you need to go.
Last week I was talking to another author, and she was saying that she literally sits down and bangs out the book however long it takes, but she pretty much knows like how many days, for like her word quota. And she's like, that's what I fixate on, and then I move to some other aspect. And I'm totally opposite. I take a certain time of the morning hours that I write new materials, but then in the afternoons I'm working on, formatting a different book or going through edits of another one. I have this weird publishing 2 things simultaneously problem, but
that's cool.
Always doing something, but it's not just sitting down to write the story, so it takes me a lot longer.
That's okay. That's okay. Brains work differently, and it's crazy. Like I never even thought that I would be at this point. Like I just published my first book in January, and now I'm working on about publishing a 4th one. So it's like, it's weird that it just went that fast. Honestly, was not even anticipating that. But like the first 2 of these got knocked out in a summer, basically. I just mad dash writing and wrote almost, almost 300,000 words. So it's like, no, less than that. It was more like 250. So like, it's crazy just how it just came out. And now I gotta work on book 3, which I'm in, but it's tough because it's supposed to be the final countdown basically, and it's tough closing up a series. So
it is.
Yeah.
I had to finish my debut series. It was hard to say goodbye because it's like
Yeah, and I think that's my main.
Built, gotten to know, and now you have to go bye.
Bye guys, I'll miss you. Like I think it's like part of my problem. I'm kind of procrastinating because it's like I don't want them to go away.
It is up to you if you ever want to go back and come back to that reality.
This is true.
Those characters again. You could always do a spin-off novella.
I have a couple. See, and that's another thing. I have 5 to 6 whips at any given time. So it's like there are novellas being worked on and side projects and spin-offs and they're all there. So it's just a matter of them all getting finished. So we'll see about that.
I was actually very proud today because I have a very long novella series because my full lengths they're wordy. So again, it takes me just that much longer before I can turn them around, and I feel
Yeah.
very, it's feeling very slow in the sense of trying to look at someone like you who can publish them a lot quicker. And so I challenged myself to write a novella series so I can turn those around a lot quicker. And I was
Right.
very happy because I finished the first draft of my 14th one
Mm,
today. So I was just like, goals,
that's awesome.
two more,
That's
and I'm done.
awesome.
Two more, and I'm done.
That's so
Move on to
awesome.
other things.
That's, oh yeah.
And feel
Yeah,
free,
so many things.
if you want to, obviously, I always encourage engagement with people chatting in because I can't necessarily see all the people who are talking on your side or vice versa. If anybody does
Right.
ask, a bookish related question, I'll make sure to ask
Right.
it aloud for both of us to get to. But yeah, so your first trilogy, the ones that I see in the behind you,
hmm
um, so what are those about again? Because I got so sidetracked in the
No, you're
your
fine.
one.
No, you're fine. This trilogy is about. It starts with a woman found in the woods, pregnant with a wolf dog with her, and she doesn't have any idea how she got there, how she got pregnant, how like she doesn't know anything. So she kind of leads a normal life, just trying to like sort out her life. An old woman takes them in after she has her son, and 7 years later, her son disappears. So it basically, and she is searching for her son and ends up in a different world and
Oh,
falls through this portal kind of thing, chasing
I
her
love
dog into
Portal
it.
Fantasy.
Yeah, so it's definitely portal fantasy. And then once they get in there, her wolf dog is no longer a wolf dog, but a big old dire wolf that's staring her in the face. And so she's trying to figure out how this all works in with her son and everything like that. The second book is the prequel of the land that she actually goes to is the prequel of the king and queen and their love story. So it is a love story. So the first book is more of epic. There is romance, but it's mostly just the kind of transformation situation.
Yeah.
And the second book is more love focused, kind of giving you more of the entirety of the realm and giving you a view of what's actually going on in each of the individual territories and how they work and the different cultures in each one. And then the third book is literally all of it. Like
Okay.
it's like the continuing story where the first book left off, but you have to read them in order for it to make sense. So it's if you,
Publication order.
yeah,
Publication.
it's
Yes.
very
Gotcha.
important. It's very important for publication order, like because it would ruin everything if you tried to read that one first and then that one. It would ruin the whole thing. So, but yeah, it's proving very intense, especially for the third book. I'm like 35,000 words in, and I'm nowhere near anywhere right now. I'm still like building up to
Hmm.
something happening yet, and it hasn't happened because there's just so much I have to go over first before we even get into it. So it's
Welcome to
gonna
epic
be
fantasy.
right.
Lots of
It's
words to build up.
oh man, it is like I'm like my God, I just want to get to it. Like I just want to get it on paper, and then I can add the extra fluff to it. So
Love it. Well,
yeah.
I have to mention, I will say, I love the fact that you use a wolf dog because my new dog is a wolf dog,
Oh,
and
that's awesome. That's
so
so
whenever that's
awesome.
that's so sweet. He'll be so happy when I scratch his head later. I'll be like, "There's a book with you in it."
What's his
Who knew?
name? What's his
What?
name?
He came with the name Odin, which no one believes that because I write Viking fantasy, and everybody's like, "You named him that." I was like,
Yeah,
"No, he actually came with the name."
so fantastic. I love that.
Meant to be. Meant to
Yes,
be.
I love that so much. Yeah, my dog, the wolf dog is based off of my dog, which is a Maremma. So he's a
Oh,
livestock guardian dog. So he's all white, fluffy,
uh-huh.
very, very huge. He's 112 pounds.
Very nice.
So he's a big, big boy. So so his name's Ronan.
I love it.
But yeah, that's what the Dover is based off of, my dog.
Oh, I love it. And I had a comment pop up saying epic fantasy is so much work. It can be.
Oh
I get
yeah.
it.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, it could definitely be a lot of work because it's not just a fantasy romance. Like I'm not doing it for the sake of, oh, I want a romance in it, but there is, because I personally love romance. I love that there is an element of that, but I also love the journey of everything and the little quips and the fun, like the funniness. I like to keep it lighthearted in some situations, especially when it gets really heavy. And I want there to be like a flamboyant, boisterous character all the time, someone who doesn't take anything seriously. Like I like having all of those different
Mhm.
sassy elements, you know. So it's multidimensional, and it's definitely not easy.
No, I think that's one of my problems is I love I love introducing new worlds and new characters that all of a sudden I blink and I'm like, wow, I have probably way too many, but I want them all.
I
So
want
you're
them
going to get them
all.
all.
There's so many side like character stories in my brain, and I'm
Mhm.
just like, they have to have a voice. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's so sad. Yes,
yeah,
in
yeah.
art, it's so much work.
Oh yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
My Portal fantasy is ridiculous because it ended up being a magical multiverse. So 12 physical worlds, multiple dimensions, all these characters, and it got to the point where like I have probably 40 pages of notes to keep track of who's who at the split because I've written 5 so far of the series,
yeah,
and so I'm still writing more. And I was just like, there is a lot of characters.
yeah, yeah. And I'm terrified now coming into the third book because I was like, yeah, this is gonna be the final one. And as I'm writing it, I'm just like, crap, it might not be the final one.
And that's okay.
Like, yeah.
That's okay.
It's just it's so much because there's so many different side stories, like you said, but they're
Mhm.
main stories too. That's the
Yes.
thing. Like even though they're side stories, they are all connected in some kind of way, and it's just yikes.
Oh yeah, well, like back in the day. No, Paolini, who wrote the Aragon, and his book series, I know
Hmm.
originally he was thinking trilogy, 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 and at
Right.
some point the final book ended up being 2 books because it was just too big, and
It
it may
was
happen. No
yeah.
matter how much you try, it may
Yeah.
happen.
That happened to H.E. Gober in the comments on my side. Her first book, she said it would have been 300,000 words at least if she just left it the way it was. So she had to cut it in half.
Yes.
So yeah, it's crazy how much information goes into doing a fantasy, and it's just can
And
be
yeah,
overwhelming.
tacking on that concept and that a comment popping up saying making series and having to remember some obscure details from book 1 for like the third book on. So how much detail do you try to keep track of for your characters as you write a series? Because I feel like each time I try to get better and better, but
Yeah.
I know I'm not as great as I probably should be, even though I have all these details.
Yeah, it's so funny because I see all these people with like programs like Scrivener or like you know all of that kind of stuff like Campfire or whatever, and they're all organized and have all these notes and cliff notes and side notes and down here notes and up here notes, and I have a book. A
Yeah.
physical book that has just a jumbled mess of notes written on napkins, scrap
Yeah.
pieces of paper, notebook paper, just sketched out information. And I try to keep it as organized as possible. But like I'm a pantser by heart. I just go with the flow. But I know having an epic fantasy, you have to have some form of outline of where the heck you're going to go with this information. So yeah, I try to keep track of all of the notes and the details. I have like what I have like a call like in my mug shots of all of my of all of my characters,
Yeah.
and just use art bender to get like basic kind
Mhm.
of things and eye color, just real basic information. And just a track sheet of all of them, so I know exactly who eye color is this. And like I made the mistake too. Like I said, I'm a pantser. I'm just writing. I'm like, yeah, this is great, and I'm describing her. And I look at my paperwork, and I'm just like, crap, I gotta go all the way back and change everything. Like I went into detail how to describe this one character. I'm like, yeah, she's gorgeous. And I looked at him like, crap, it's in the book as something else already, so I gotta change it here. Yeah, it's hard, like, because I feel like I'm being put in a box, and I hate that. So I do stay as true to the original as possible, and all the details that I talked about, and all the little things. So I try to keep track as small of a detail as a flower as was described, and try to maintain that throughout the entire series without deviating. So yeah, I definitely keep track of those because it's important, because I notice stuff like, this is silly, but I notice stuff in like shows like Bob's Burgers or something, like, wait a minute, that didn't happen in the other season. Or like there's a one season, like his dad died, and then they went to go visit his dad for Christmas in another season. I'm like, hold on, he got a package from when his dad passed away. And they played with the toys that came in that package for the whole episode. And then they went to this new season, and they're going to go visit his dad for Christmas. I'm like, wait a minute. So, like, stuff like that bothers me, so I don't want to be that person.
Oh, yeah.
I want to make sure I have all of that information organized and set up for the reader, so they're not getting mad at me for forgetting something.
It's jarring, and if there's a discrepancy, and you're just like, wait, hold on. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely. And it is important. It's a pain to keep the detail and everything. But I was working on the book series, the Viking series that I'm publishing simultaneously with Mortal Fantasy.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't recommend. Anywho, working on it's based on Norse mythology, and so there's the goddess named Freya, and I was like, the early references to her, I had a certain spelling, and then I'm writing a later book, and all of a sudden I used one of the other types of spellings of her name, and I'm just like, oh, but I like this other one better.
I know.
Wait, no.
How do I change it? Yeah.
Regret.
Yeah, it's awful when you go back, like, and you read the first ones in your series, and you're like, why did I do it that way? Like, I should have done it this way. Like, where's my brain? Oh, Hannah, I'm so sorry. She didn't. Hannah loves watching Bob's Burgers too, and she said she's never noticed that discrepancy before.
I guess I should have said spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Whoops. I had a comment pop up talking about the concept of how people were upset at about cliffhangers in a particular book. Are you a cliffhanger person? Do you like them? Do you write them?
No, I hate them.
You hate them?
I hate them so much.
Them, so.
They only work for me if the book is already out. Like if I read, oh, this book ends in a cliffhanger, I will wait to even attempt to read it until the rest of it comes out. Then
I've heard a lot of people say that. So that's
like, I am patient when it comes to cliffhangers. I'm like, oh no, I won't read it then. Then I'll just be mad for the rest of the day. I get too involved. Like, and Hannah, bless her soul, she wrote a book because I told you she had to cut hers in half, right? So that means she cut it in a cliffhanger. Yeah. So, and her arcs just went out today, and I was fortunate enough to be an alpha reader for her book Trials of the Heart, and it comes out September 2nd. But yeah, it ends in a terrible cliffhanger. It's awful. The only reason I forgive her is because I know what happens. But I hate it so much.
Well, I see. Thank you, D'Artagnan, for popping up and saying you love cliffhangers too. Thank you. But like, no, there are definitely strong opinions about certain topics in the book community, and cliffhangers are definitely one of them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, I'm not going to break up friendships for a cliffhanger, but like, it definitely irks me. Like, I'm just like, why didn't, there's one book they didn't say. I read all through the triggers. I'm like, okay, no cliffhanger, great. Read it, and it was like a drop off. Like they like shoved you off of the cliff. And I'm like, I, and she didn't bring the book out for another 2 years. And I was done. She was like, coming back in 2002 at that point. 2002. I'm like, uh, I was so angry.
This is why I try to motivate myself as much as possible to try to publish as quickly as I can, because I
Right.
do like cliffhangers. I don't want to lose the attention or curiosity of people,
Right.
and I don't want to, anger anybody who's just like, it takes a year before I know the next one, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can only write so fast. I'm doing the best I can.
If it ends on a cliffhanger, you better have that second book ready.
Oh yes, oh yes. I have a comment that popped up saying, as long as the plot concludes, I'm fine with the ending creating some new dire questions.
Right. That's what mine do. I do have, especially in the series,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of open-ended questions at the end. It has ended, but open-ended questions. So both of them end in that way. There is a secure ending, and then it's just like, wait, well, what happened with this? What happened? So there's all a bunch of questions, and they all will be answered, I promise. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of questions.
Well, I mean, you want to pull people forward. You want them
Right.
to continue and to want
Right.
more. That's kind of the point. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of my beta readers are like, well, what about this? And I wanted to see more of that. And I'm just like, book three. Like, it's a series.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a phone call come in, so if you heard a buzzing, I apologize. We'll see
you're
if
fine.
so I apologize for that one. Okay, but yes, no, it is so funny to figure out to what extent are people comfortable with, endings that are not all tied up in a bow.
Right.
And, with your series, the way your trilogy or potential quadrilogy, we'll see.
We'll see.
how it seems to go. It is very interesting. Do you write like a single point of view, multiple points of view when you do your series? Because
I have multiple POVs.
Okay.
Which I say multiple, but it's well, yeah, I have multiple POVs. The first book was mostly just the two male and female protagonists. And then the second book was more male, female protagonists with the kind of perspective of the maid. And I do that because fantasy typically is in like third person. And I don't like, I mean, it's not that I don't like it, but I'm not a huge fan of third person because I like to be immersed in the story and I want to be and I want to be in it for real. So when I write, that's how I write from my perspective, essentially. So, but I want it to be a well-rounded story too. So then that's why I put perspectives of other people that are close to it, but not necessarily in it, and they kind of give you a rounder, depth of it. So that's why I add I just sprinkle them in there, and it's not like intense or you have to focus on their timeline or any. No, it's just to give you kind of a more fleshed out environment, essentially.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I have not challenged myself to write a book with multiple POVs.
Mm-hmm.
I follow a main character throughout, and you
Right.
have, again, hopefully a rich enough, dynamic, wide enough cast that you feel like immersed in a real situation. But I do, as of this moment, my 3 series have only focused on single point of view characters. And I guess my counter question for you is, have you realized that your main characters are shades of yourself, or have you challenged yourself to write someone that's very, very different?
No, I thought I did, but reading them back, I'm like, oh crap, these are all me. Like every single one of these people are me. There's all elements of just and family members. My main characters are definitely me. and different aspects of me and what I'd hope to be in that situation, kind of thing. And then the male protagonist is always my husband. Even though I try not to, it's always my husband. Like just the broody type. It doesn't talk much, but feels a whole lot. That is all my male protagonist. It just is what it is. And then any children that I write are all my kids. They're all elements of, my kids. So her son is definitely my son. His quirkiness, his little quips he comes out with, like just everything. And then so it's definitely just elements of my family that I have found that I just write about. I didn't mean to, but it just, you write with what you know, and I know them. So
That's true, and it's so hard as an author to try to, well, maybe not, maybe different authors, some of you listening out there can correct me on your points of view, but to challenge yourself to try not to always write you, because
right.
I definitely know I've fallen into that with some of my characters, main characters, a couple of my series, definitely I feel like are shades of myself.
Yeah.
One literally when I was a child, it was my alter ego. It's this literally this character. So that one, I can't even lie about that one. Like that one has my name and everything. That is me. But
it is.
My novella series, because again, there was something to shake things up and try things. I really wanted a character who saw the world and experienced the world very differently than I do. I still have a character in there that's like, that was me.
Yeah.
But it's like the sister and not the main character that you see. Through. It's a good challenge to try to see, can I make a character that is very different outlook at the world, especially early on, and hopefully make it believable.
For sure. I started a project that is a spin-off realm, essentially, from the Wibell series, and its main character is an assassin, like a female assassin, and it's based off of loosely based off of it's the legend of these assassins, and these Korean assassins, and they were supposedly all female, and they were very beautiful but deadly, and they were to protect the kingdom. So I based that, there's like a whole coalition of assassins off of that, and kind of based the whole realm off of the Korean like country back then. So yeah, I mean, I did that because my background, my dad is Korean, so that's why I wanted to kind of meld that in there. And but yeah, so she's a venture away from me, like that is for sure. She's who I want to be. Like she's really, but she's the broody one, and that's what I love about it. She's gonna be the broody, gruff, I love the way, unaliving feels kind of thing. Like the first line is like, she feels the slip of crimson through her fingers, and it's warm and inviting. Like she's crazy, and I love it. She's a little off, and then the the male protagonist is the cinnamon roll. Like, oh my gosh, she's hurt. Let me fix her. Like, like. So yeah, it's definitely a journey away, because that's not me. That's not me at all.
Yeah, at least don't admit it if that is. You might need to keep that with yourself.
But yeah, she's insane, and I love that for her.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Yeah, I definitely have had a character in the back of my mind. I know there's like a subgenre that's D&D lit, and the character I developed because I, over COVID, got into D&D a little bit. Definitely don't quiz me on it. But the character I developed was this kind of this anti-hero to a potential villain-like character, and I really loved her. And I'm like, kind of like what you were talking about, probably not the most stable of main characters, but I definitely want to write her story.
It's so funny when you try to venture out, you make someone who's kind of off, like. And it's like, I mean, I guess I didn't have to go in that direction, but that's the direction I went. So,
the
it's
world's your
fun.
oyster, and you can play with that's. I don't know. You live so many different lives, and I think that is really cool. You can live so many different lives.
Sarah Joy Stiles just said, my writing partner is a psychologist, and I jokingly say she gives me free therapy through my feedback. Oh man, that's fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yes,
we all should have a psychologist friend.
that's very true. I mean, I technically have got my undergrad, one of my undergrad degrees, but it was animal psychology. So yeah, I
Yeah,
wanted to be Dr.
it's a little
Doolittle, so
different.
a little different. I can't exactly help.
Hey, that's awesome.
Want to talk to the animals, and yes, chaotic evil all the way. But yeah, so I was going to ask you something. I totally forgot. Oh, okay. So you have your portal fantasy, and the way you described it really a little early on kind of reminds me of some vibes of like a Fae-inspired reality of a
Yeah.
dream world. Is that something that you pulled from, or is that just happenstantial because jumping into falling into a portal and it having
Yeah.
a king and queen and
Yeah, it just, happenstance mostly because I didn't intentionally do Fae. It just kind of happened that way. They're not called Fae in my book. They're called Minoans. They
Ooh,
have, and it's a whole different race. And there's fairies, but they're not called fairies. They're called the Tundri. Um, it's like so like I did a language, and it's a mixture of my background, so Korean and Hungarian like language mixed together, and kind of blended together. And yeah, so it wasn't an intentional thing that they're quote unquote elves or anything like that. It just one of those things that just kind of happened. I'm like, they can have pointy ears. That's fine,
why
that
not?
works,
Why not?
whatever. They're different. But like
But just
what sets them apart from most situations is their skin color is not typical skin color. They're gold, silver, and bronze.
ooh,
So the golden people, they stem from royalty, like their background is royalty, nobility, that kind of
okay,
stuff.
okay.
The silver and bronze, they're called serval,
Mhm.
and so they're the lower level, that kind of thing. So if your skin color has silver flecks in it, then you know that you're from a lower level family or whatever, and that kind of thing. So everybody with golden skin, or golden flecks in their skin, they're all from a royalty, nobility, up and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how, but it's like different shades of those colors too so it's like a deep golden or a pale golden skin or pale silver skin or
Yeah.
dark silver skin, like it still has the variations, but it's still grouped in gold, silver, bronze kind of thing.
And
So
now I want to see character art based off your book series because I think
yeah.
that would be such a stunning, with like a metallic sheen, and you can
Thank
have
you,
like your
Sarah.
stickers or.
Yeah, and that's the thing that she talks about. Jasmine in the book always like reference the broody character, saying he has like a metallic sheen to his skin. Like every time he like moves in the sunlight, it just reflects off of him, kind of thing. And it's just, she's like, it's beautiful to see. He's pretty.
Well, hello there. No, that's
Yeah, and he's broody and mean, and it's great.
again, as you said, a shade of your husband. Maybe not the mean side, but the broody.
Yeah, no, not the mean side. He's definitely like a cupcake, but like, broody and doesn't talk. Yeah, that's him.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I'm sorry, Hannah. She said, this is the skin of an unaliver, Bella. It's not like that, Hannah. You know it.
Oh man, that's hysterical. I love it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, that's so much fun. I do want to ask. Sorry, I just noticed. I was like, wow. Okay, the hour's speeding by.
Oh,
Before I
yeah.
forget, because I always want to make sure I ask a few things. And one is when you're not here on Book Talk,
Hmm.
where else can people find you? Do you have a website? Do you have a
I
newsletter? What are the
do.
socials? Let us know.
I have,
Follow you.
uh, yeah, I have all those things. I have a website that is just my name, authortlcombs.com. And I do have a newsletter. It's called the Honeycombs newsletter. The sign up is on my website and it's on my link tree. All that stuff is on my branches over there. I have Instagram. I have Clapper. I have Lemonade. I have all of them. So you
I
can.
was like, wait, you have some of the ones. I was like, yeah. Wait, no, I haven't gone.
Yeah, yeah, they're all crazy ones. I got some like hood talk over there, and so if you want to get on there, you can. Yeah, I don't post very much of the stuff, but yeah, Instagram. I basically I don't do a whole lot on Instagram, even though I should. But like I lost my first account, so it was kind of disheartening after a while because I lost a ton of people, and trying to get them back is like hard. Especially on Instagram's hard. I don't know if I.
I finally figured out that repurposing these videos on that platform as reels helps a lot because I never figured it out, and then all of a sudden that started stick. It just started helping. I was just like, okay, I'm lazy.
I do the reels. I think it's because I don't do it enough. I just do like once every other week or something. I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'll post like 10. I'm like, there we go, we're done. I'm terrible at it. I like this platform so much better. It's a lot more interactive for me, I guess. I don't know.
It is.
So, but I have all of them. I have Facebook. And it's just author TL Combs. You'll find me. I'm the only one. So,
and I will try. I've never had this issue until this past week, so hopefully it doesn't happen again, or else I'm gonna have to like talk to someone behind the scenes because I try to repurpose these on my YouTube channel, and I'll put all the live links for you underneath. Right. I just had a glitch last week, and it didn't save the recording, and I felt really bad, and I had to like go back and be like, I'm sorry.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't even know how to do that, like saving the live from here to like it never has saved for me. Like I've never gotten a hey, your live is ready to view, and I've never gotten that.
I think you have to kind of like dig into like the live platform part of it, and there's like live replay, and then you can download it from there. Usually it takes like
so they make it hard to like find.
Yeah, you have to find it, and it takes, depending on how long your live is, it does take some time to format it.
Right.
But then it should be there for 30 days for you up to 30 days before they delete it.
I'm welcome.
But, and I'm usually good. I just was very sad. It was just like, I'm sorry, there was a technical error, and I was like, oh, I forgot that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not your fault. You can't help that.
But I want to share these with more people. But yes, okay. That is all good to know. And you said you had your newsletter that people can find you on your link.
On my link tree, like all of my information is on that. So if you need to find me, you can find me on that.
And are your books wide, exclusive on Zon? Where do you find
book one is on KU. Yeah. Book one is on KU, and it's on barnesandnoble.com as well, and Amazon and all that stuff. And then the hardback is wide, so that's in a couple of like local bookshops and stuff like that. Now, and book two is on Kindle and Kobo for ebook, and it's on Barnes and Noble, and it's on the Zon and that stuff. And this new book, Audacia Flower, is going to be the same. It's going to go wide with just the hardback, and paperback, and everything's going to be online, barnesandnoble.com and Amazon. But ebook is Kobo and Kindle.
I know it's so complicated trying to explain this because there's so many options for authors, and all my ebooks had been on KU. But I just pulled them all out in the process to start moving them wide to see how that works. And we shall see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Worst case, I move them all back.
Right. I just had missed because I didn't realize I auto-renewed my KU. I didn't realize I clicked that for my first book because I was going to take it off. I was like, oh, great. I think I'm coming right up on it. I was like a day late. I was like, dang it. So I got to wait another 3 months, and I took it off of auto. I was like, no more. So in October, I'm gonna try to go wide with it. So we'll see how it goes.
So I'm assuming that you're an indie author based on some of the context. I forgot to ask if you're indie or small.
I am indie. Yes, I am indie.
Okay, then I'm going to pick your brain about how to work things like I don't know if you use Ingram Spark or what you use for your wide distribution, but just because I don't know that side of the thing.
Okay.
At
Yeah,
some
I
point, you
use
might see a message and be like, "Help me."
yeah, I use Ingram Spark. I gotta be really honest. I hate it with a passion.
I
Um, I hate it so much. It's a necessary evil. I've heard
Mhm.
things about draft to digital. I've not experienced
How-
it. I've heard good things about it, but I didn't know you could go wide with it because when I first came on, you couldn't.
yeah,
So
I didn't know you could do that wide either. Huh.
I didn't know that. So like apparently you can now. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but like
Okay,
I
that's
hear a lot more
a
people said instead of Ingram, I'm doing draft to digital so I can go wide. I'm like, wait, when did this happen? Because if I don't have to go with Ingram, we might have to talk.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, their setup is just awful, and their customer service is atrocious. Like you can't
Mhm.
get a hold of anybody. You send them a message, and they're like, "We'll get back to you," and you hear back like 2 weeks later, and like I've already resolved my issue, so like I don't need you anymore. It's like done.
Yeah,
Um,
I've
yeah,
heard some
and
horror
their
stories about like
formatting,
formatting.
yeah,
Hmm.
their formatting is awful. It's like you have to. Okay, so to explain this,
It's okay. Safe space.
you you have to click on a certain thing to make sure you upload the same way you did last time. So if you go in there and say, "Hey, I'm going to upload. I have all my information. I have all my files. I just need to upload it." So, "Hey, Danielle, um, if you click, I'm just going to upload my files, you won't be able to see your cover at all. You just say, well, I hope it fits, and that's it. Like it doesn't send you to the cover building section. It's just here, upload your file. That's it. So you have to make sure you build your book every time so you can actually see if your cover is fitting or everything like that. So like, it's just because I did it for my second
Recommending
book.
draft to digital first because
Look, I did it for my second book, and you can never go back. You can never go back to it. It's like this is how you can do this book forever. That's it. It's like I had to upload a different cover because something was wrong on the first one, so I had to upload the different cover, and I forgot to do the template, but I thought I was fine. But apparently, it was a little bit out, and I couldn't see. I just
Mhm.
hope for the best and like roll with it. So you got to
Well,
like build your book every single time in order for you to actually see the template and like maneuver things if you have to maneuver. And
well,
even then,
yep,
it's
yep.
frustrating. Oh,
I
Danielle
know.
has a question in here. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay, here we
Well,
go.
she hasn't asked you yet, but go ahead.
Oh, yes. Always feel free. Anybody has questions, just feel free to ask. Can't guarantee you get the answer, but we try.
Yeah. Okay, there she goes. She popped up. How do you handle signed copies? Do you order from Amazon and sell those on? Yeah. Um, I order mine off of Amazon only because I get them really fast.
Mhm.
Um, Ingram takes way too long for my liking. It took almost 2 weeks to get a book, and I only ordered like 5 copies one time, and it took almost 2 weeks to get here. I ordered 30 copies at Amazon, and it came in 3 days because they were already in circulation. So it was so fast. Do you order them
And
as
I
author?
will,
Yes, as author copies.
yeah, and I'll just say also be wary. I have noticed this now that depending on the time of year, depends on how long author copies come in. If it's around the
Yeah,
holidays, they can take a lot longer
yeah,
because everybody is using their print to order system,
right.
um, uh, and it just backlogs. So always,
Yeah, for sure.
summertime or slower times better to like stock up. But yeah, that's what I do
Mm-hmm.
is I order author copies. Right now, again, I'm exclusive through on all formats, including audiobook, and I will hopefully change that going forward.
Hi,
But
David.
I order my hardcovers and paperbacks, and
Right.
then currently I sell them through Etsy. Though I'm hoping to create a shop function on my website to make things
Yeah,
a little more structured.
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier having it like them directly on my website now, and it's I got that set up after like maybe a month after my first book came out. And that's just been so nice being able to like have that. And it's like more one-on-one too with the with the readers and everything when you get to do that, and you get to actually talk to them because you get their email and go back and forth with stuff. So that's I like that part of it a lot better.
Yeah, and obviously you get the signed copies, depending
Right.
on
Right.
authors what they do. Maybe you get something else, maybe a sticker or a bookmark or something else. Who
Yeah,
knows?
these
You're
stickers. I need
supporting
bookmarks.
you're supporting local indie authors,
Right.
maybe not local, I guess. Indie authors, just small businesses, indie authors, and
Right.
it helps us out because we usually, not always, we usually get a better cut that way too.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it's because I think through Ingram in the US, I make 40 cents per copy.
Mm.
And just through Amazon, I make maybe $4 per copy. So like that difference is staggering right there. Well, of course, depending on which book, but yeah, it's crazy. Like the small amount you get with Ingram. I mean, I understand you're going through a wider situation and then you want to provide a discount, blah, 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 but like 40 cents, that's hurt. That hurts, especially
No,
for like a $25 book.
yep. And it is so shocking that there's always going to be a person who doesn't realize, the small amount we get. And so,
I know.
I
Yeah,
feel bad. No, I wish I could give out my books for free and still
I
somehow make
know.
money, but that's not how it works.
I know. And I feel bad when people ask for like, hey, can I get like, I would love to give you a book. However, I have to pay back some things. So I
Yeah.
can't. I financially cannot give you a free book unless it's a messed up copy and I'm doing a giveaway. And that's when I'll do a free book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I try to tell people. I try to be nice to everyone, but you definitely get a lot of people asking for free stuff. And it after a while, it's just like, okay, no. You can't have a free book. I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, excuse me. Just depending on the person, and maybe I should vet them more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I always, right now, what I've done is like, hey, if you're interested in reading a copy for free, why don't you join my ARC team or my
Right.
readers team? And then,
Right.
if you're part of that, you get a free copy,
Right.
and just please leave a review. 'Cause
Right. Exactly.
that's as much of a deal I can give you guys.
I have so many questions running in my brain, and I'm not even done with edits. Anxiety. Oh, girl, you ain't lying. Um, yeah, anxiety is no joke when it comes to writing. Plus, the shipping hurts paying for it twice. Yeah. Is that David? Yeah, David Lee. Um, yeah. And then with Ingram, they can send the book back, and then you got to pay for that.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I heard you can make that an optional, but if you don't make that optional, then you can't necessarily there are loopholes for everything.
There are
People
loopholes
are
for
finding,
everything, but
but it's
yeah. Hey,
harder
Amber.
to get into the physical bookstores if you
Yeah,
don't
it's
allow the return.
there's very few indie bookstores in my immediate area, so I had to venture outside of that. But the ones that are here, they're really snobbish and very stuck up about stuff. And like, one lady asked me, "Well, is it gonna look good on a shelf?" I was like, "Okay, well, I don't want to be in your bookstore, but thank you." Like, thank you for your time. Is it gonna look good on a shelf? I was like, "Ew, why'd you say it like that?" Like, you're an indie bookstore. Like, why are you being so ooh? Like,
The only thing I could think of is, depending on how small or large, but assumingly small, moderate size, but they may have limited shelf space. But even
right,
still, be nice.
right.
Be
I
nice.
mean, it was just an interesting experience trying to talk to. Yes, they are stunning, Hannah. I wonder who made them. She did.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's just a different world that I'm used to because I'm coming from indie book talk, so everybody's sweet and accommodating and lovely and
Love this.
wants to help, And so I'm like, everybody's like that. And then I go in there all naive and cute, and they're just like, ew, what? I didn't know you people were like this. Man, this is not cool.
Yeah, yeah, and it takes a lot of, well, maybe not, but like it can take a lot of nerves to like go in there and just ask because no one likes rejection.
Yeah, not at all. Do you recommend skipping Ingram and doing D2? I don't know anything about digital what is it? Digital
Digital,
draft
I think.
digital. Yeah,
Yeah,
draft to digital. I don't know anything about it. So I can't say yes, go do that. So I would suggest searching around for the people who've actually done it,
yeah.
who've gone from Ingram to digital, and see what they say because frankly I have no idea. So I'm
I'm
not going to
definitely
speak
going to
on
be
it.
looking into that soon because I never knew that was potentially an option just to kind of compare.
Right. Like I didn't know either. Like this was literally last week I saw a girl talk about it. So that's new information for me. So I haven't even had a chance to even look. So I will be doing the same. Okay. Amber said D2D is similar to Ingram's Spark, but in some instances it's better. Okay. Well,
So
that's
look,
good to know.
we like I like it sounds promising. It sounds promising.
At least if the formatting is just a hair better than Ingram, I will hop, skip, and jump my happy behind over
So let me ask, because you do have your beautiful poster behind you.
there.
Do you try to do live signings? Because
Okay.
that's what makes me think
Yeah. So I will be doing those things soon. As soon as September, I will be doing
of,
some book signings. Hopefully in a Barnes and Noble, not too far from me, and then another one that's a little further from me. And then I'm in contact with a local bookstore in Tennessee that we're trying to set something up. So we'll see.
fun.
Nicole said I'm forcing her to do live signings. She is. Um, because I love talking to people like this. This is
Uh-huh.
great. This is fine. I'm okay with online stuff. Physically going places and having to articulate what I need to say about my book, that's, so I gotta practice.
What about now? This is another one of those things that on my to-do list, if possible. But what about the TikTok shop function? Because I've seen a lot of authors will have virtual signings
I have seen
here,
those.
and then
Yeah.
they send them out, and it seems to do. So you're doing a signing, you're talking to the person,
Right.
you're getting the thing, and you're signing it and saying dedicating. Like while you're talking to them, may not see their face. You're probably
Yeah.
just staring at your face, but
I haven't ventured into the TikTok shop yet. It's one of those things like, oh, it's new. So I have to like wrap my brain around it first.
yeah.
And then I'll probably get into it. Like, this is the easiest thing ever. So I just need to actually do it because I haven't
Yep.
made it over that threshold of it's new yet. So even though everybody's like raving about, oh, I love my TikTok shop. So I don't know.
I've heard only good things from the authors who've utilized it. So
Right.
that
And a
makes
lot
me
of my
feel very
mutuals
happy. I
use
just have
it.
to figure out how to set it up, which I'm not techy.
Right.
So I'm just like,
No.
this is why by trying to create a bookshop function on my website is taking forever. I'm finally given up, and I'm going to be like calling people, be like, someone help me build this. I don't know what I'm
Right.
doing. It's
And that's the
pretty much there.
thing.
I just don't know if I'm missing anything.
Right. I just, if you find it out, I need a tutorial too, because I'm just like, I need a video tutorial of someone showing exactly where I need to click and drag set up. So, and then I'm like, do I need like a thermal printer, like laser printer? Like, because everybody has one of those. And I'm like, is that something that's necessary to have a TikTok shop?
I don't think
Are you
you
sure?
can
Because
kind of
like
like,
literally everybody has one. I'm like, I looked them up. They're not cheap.
no, what I want to get into down the line when I have a bigger space is sprayed edges, because I want to do my own sprayed edges, but just I don't have the space right now.
Yeah,
I'm maxed out.
I do gilded like the dry brushing of metallic acrylic paint. So
Ooh.
it's like the same element, like
Uh-huh.
the same type of paint, but it's just dry brushing it.
Ooh.
So I've had pretty good success with that. So I did it on the book one. I have not attempted to do it on the rest of the books, but yeah, it's interesting. And then I have the spray can too thing that I can do. But again, it's one of those hyperfixation things that I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this all the time, and then I did it for a week, and then that was it. So.
And we're done. We moved on.
Yeah, we moved on. So I might go back to it. We'll see.
You write the next book. You do the next project. You move on. But since we did round the hour, I do want to make sure I ask my one last question, and that is there any topic that we did not cover that you would like, or is there any questions that you have that you didn't get a chance to ask as of yet? And the same goes for anybody who's listening. If you have any questions, ask them now.
Yeah, right. I think I'm good. You want to Okay, go. Sorry.
It's okay.
No, I think I'm good. I think we covered pretty much everything that I figured we'd talk about.
Yeah. And for anybody who jumped in late,
thank you,
Wednesday.
Hannah.
Wednesday is the new release.
Yes, Wednesday is my birthday, August 23rd.
Woo! Birthday release, even better.
Yes, I do all of my releases on the 23rd of a month, so I figured why not? When this one was finished, I was like, I'll do it next month. So I'm insane. I don't know what I was thinking. Doing books back to back like that. It's just because book 2 came out July 23rd, so there was that.
Wow.
So yeah, it's great.
I love it. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and if you ever want to come back on, I mean, I do them weekly. I do schedule them in advance if possible, but
okay,
yeah, I do them weekly.
For sure. I'm here, hanging out all the time.
And then for anybody who's listening in, of course, anytime you see us out and about, say hi, ask us questions. That's what we're here to do.
For sure, for sure.
Okay, well, everybody, thank you for chiming in, and thank you for coming in talking with me for this last hour, and I will catch y'all soon another time.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.